Alright, I had a YouTube watcher or somebody online request they'd like to see me do the Turkish coffee. I'll show you the way I do it, kind of explain what little I know on this. So anyway, this thing is called, some people call it an ibrik, and the guy I bought it from, I believe he called it a jaffe. It's just a lot of Middle Eastern countries use this to make coffee. They come in all different sizes. This one's pretty small, so it's good for just 1 cup of coffee. There's not really, from what I understand, any one good way to make it, because most of these countries, the people that make it, they just kind of pass it down from person to person. So, you know, trying to get, as like in America, we try to figure out how many grams versus how much water, how much time, all that stuff. They don't really do that. They just kind of do what mom told them to do. So, and each country, each region you go to, they do it a little different, and I'll kind of explain that as we go along. But today, I'm going to try, we were in a little town called Woodland Park in Colorado, and this is Cafe Leo's Tanzanian Peaberry. Light roast, and it was roasted on the 10th, so still pretty fresh, and it seemed to work really good with the Turkish coffee. So first, what you want to do, I'm going to use my Hario grinder because my full-size grinder actually doesn't grind that fine, and I might have to cut part of this out because I have to dial this in. So oops, what's going on with my... Sorry about that. Come on. So you tear out your scale, and what I found that works best with this one is, and it's kind of weird measurements. Normally I do everything in grams, but I'm going to do about 10 grams of coffee and 5 ounces of water. And I'm actually going to kind of go a little heavy on the coffee because I need to dial in the grinder. And this thing just takes a little practice to actually dial it in. So, I'll show you how this thing works. And it's not a fun way to grind coffee, but that's how we do it sometimes. Alright. Oh, put this backwards. So, I really should see how this works. Pretty much, you're wanting a fine powder on the coffee. It's almost like the consistency of crushed chalk. It's going to have a real chalky texture to it. So, we'll see how this looks. Let's test this out. I don't know if you can see this, but yeah, you can, when you kind of smash it down, you can kind of see how it chalks out. That's pretty close to the consistency that you want, and depending on the coffee, you might want to go finer. I haven't really had any problems with it, so I'll just grind this for a moment, get my arm workout in for the day. And this coffee smells so good. This had a pretty nice complex notes to it as well. Once you do the Turkish style, it's such a strong way of making coffee that you kind of, it makes good coffee, but you don't really get those notes as if you were doing a drip or even a French press. You still are getting notes, it's just not the same. But you're just getting a really heavy coffee, and it's kind of nice. Kind of one of the things they do traditionally, especially in Turkey, is they like to serve it with a cup of water and maybe some kind of a cookie or cracker, kind of like we do scones or something sometimes. All right. Go fast. When you get this fine on coffee, it's really hard to, I mean, even 10 grams is, kind of takes forever. So. Actually, let's see if we can do here. Good thing to pour in. Actually, I do. Yeah, I can't use that one. Alright. See how much we got here. That's funny. 10.5. That's perfect. Alright. So, you put on your Ibrick or your Jaffe, tear it out, and we're measuring 10 grams of coffee, at least in this one. Now here's where some differences come into play. Some people, slight out to 10.5. Some people put hot water in. Some countries will put in cold water. I like to do the cold water, so I'm just pouring with my Hario gooseneck. I'm going 2 ounces, and we're going for 5 ounces of water. And you just pour it in. This is where it gets a little tricky. So that's pretty close. And if we want to see how many grams that is, we're looking at 142 grams. So now I'm going to take something to stir it with, kind of stir it. And now we'll cut the video and I'll show you guys how, what we do next. We're back. Welcome to my small kitchen. So you put it on the oven, depending on what you got. You want to lower heat because you don't want to burn your wood handle. Kind of tilt it off to the side. And you basically just wait until it boils. And traditionally, and I haven't found a clear answer on why they do it this way, but traditionally in some countries and regions they boil it, pull it off the fire, put it back on, boil it again, pull it off the fire, and boil it again, and then pull it off the fire. So 3 boils, and then they pour. Let me grab a spoon here. The next step is kind of the major traditional way. As it starts foaming, you want to take your spoon, get the foam out, put it into the cup. Fair warning on this coffee, sorry about that, you will get some sludgy stuff kind of hanging out at the bottom, and that's good. You actually kind of want that on this coffee. In, I believe, Turkey, it's kind of funny what they do with this Turkish coffee, is if a girl is wanting to marry a guy, she will have it foam, and if the foam is really good, she'll put sugar in it and she'll give it to the guy that she wants to marry. I don't know what happens after that, after she gives it to him, but that's what they do. If she's either playing a joke on the guy or doesn't like him and doesn't want to marry him, but he wants to marry her, she will put salt in his coffee. So I just like to drink it black, because again, my philosophy is if the coffee itself is high quality, then you shouldn't have to put anything in it. The guy that I bought this from, he did put sugar in it, and I think he kind of put maybe a little too much. And they also like to put, oh man, I can't remember the spice. They like to put like an allspice or some kind of a, not allspice, they like to put some kind of a spice in it with the sugar. So anyway, as you can see, it's kind of foaming up. I'll stir it a little, kind of let it. And again, if anybody is watching this and they do it a certain way and it's the traditional way they've learned how to do it, don't take offense to how I'm making it. This is just the way I've learned from what I've kind of looked around on, trying to keep it somewhat exact so I can continue to make consistent good coffee this way. And again, like I said, every region's a little different, and I think everybody that does it's a little different. So I kind of read one comment that someone said, I don't even think the Turkish people know how to make Turkish coffee. That's not me that said that, that was somebody else, but just kind of funny. I mean, again, it's kind of like a lot of things in life. There's no right or wrong way, there's just a better way and a best way, and if you're doing it a certain way and getting good results. Okay, we're pulling off the foam. And actually, this part, I'm not really sure how many times you're supposed to do it. But yeah, you get it to a full boil, which it's getting close, so keep an eye here. As it starts boiling up, I'm going to take it off the heat, let it settle, put it back on. It's going to boil really quick. Take it off the heat. And really, from what I understand, this is just a game of, alright, and pour the coffee. So, I think part of the reason they do this, see, and it's got some, I guess, what you consider crema. And, yeah, there's Turkish coffee right there. I think they kind of pull the foam off and then put it in the cup, really more for the fact of having the sediment and coffee grounds sink to the bottom as you pour. But and I asked the guy at the Turkish store, do you drink the sludge? And he says it depends. If you feel like it, go for it. So I'm going to sip this ridiculously hot coffee. And again, actually it's pretty clean taste. It's not, I think if it's real bitter and it makes hair stand up on ends, then you've done something wrong. But anyway, that's the way I do Turkish coffee. It's pretty easy, pretty fun. Can be a talking piece if you want it to be when you have friends over, and it's just something different to do with your coffee. So hope you guys enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a blessed day. See ya.